Alrighty, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us here on Wlbt Plus First Alert Weather Edition. I'm Meteorologist Chase Franks. We're going to be covering everything that you need to know in regards to the storm system moving into the day today and into your day tomorrow. If you have any questions, please hop over on Facebook and I'll be able to answer them as fast as I possibly can. I'll even be able to pull them up as we go along. So let's dive into all the details because there's a lot to talk about. This allows me to be a little bit more transparent with y'all, a little bit more open to open-ended questions, and again, go into a little bit more detail and a little bit more of the science factors behind why stuff is happening. So here's a look at our live satellite radar right now. Again, things are looking fairly quiet across much of the central Mississippi area. We will see pretty gusty conditions again, winds up to 40 miles an hour expected, not even associated with those cells, but mostly cloudy conditions. We'll start to see partly cloudy skies into your forecast for your day today. But here's a look ahead throughout the day today. More cloud cover, and again, isolated showers and storms are going to be possible today. There's a thing in the atmosphere called a cap. So that cap is basically holding those storms in, so not allowing them to grow to the maximum capacity that they possibly could if they were able to tap into all that atmosphere. However, if a storm's updraft causes it to break through that cap, we could easily see more severe weather, and these isolated cells could easily turn severe in the matter of a snap, a second. And that is something that we should be mindful of into the overnight hours. The storm instabilities there, we'll cover that here in just a couple seconds. But again, the instabilities there, the high resolution models are showing us that everything is lining up for this to be a very impactful system. But here's a look at Saturday morning. So Saturday, in my opinion, is the day that people should be concerned about. I'm concerned about Saturday, and I believe you should be too. You should be aware that this system has the capabilities of very strong storms. So here's a look at Saturday morning. Again, I'm pointing over here because that's the screen that I'm looking at. But for Saturday morning, we are going to be looking at some isolated severe storms. So I want you to be aware that the morning hours, we have a lot of more limiting factors into the severe factors that we're going to be looking at here in just a minute. But into the afternoon hours, those limitations are gone. The atmosphere is juiced is a good way that I should describe it, because it is going to be very much showing favorable conditions for severe storms into the afternoon hours. So anywhere after around 10 a.m. all the way through about 6 p.m., we'll start to see those cells pop up. So here, I'll even go back for you just a split second. So you see that kidney bean shape. You see right over the metro areas to the south. That kidney bean shape shows us that the high resolution models are picking up on the fact that we could easily see supercell-like tendencies with these storms. And I know it looks like it is a linear structure with the storm system making its way pretty much the same way, no matter what, that southwesterly to northeasterly flow. And then areas off to the Delta, back into areas into the southwestern region of Mississippi, central Mississippi. It doesn't matter where you are. We're all going to be looking at the same thing. As it moves through, that kidney bean shape continues. Those supercell-like tendencies really stay strong even into the afternoon and evening. We saw that a little bit of flash here. And I think the high-resolution models do a very good job at picking up on where we could see these storms. Again, it's not necessarily a straight line of storms that we're going to be expecting into Saturday, but cells all associated with that back line. So again, we'll be talking about that structure remaining strong and very much favorable for very severe storms to develop. So here's a rough overview. Thankfully, we should be clear by Saturday night and into Sunday morning. So if you have any questions, do not forget to ask on Facebook. I would be happy to answer them at any time possible. Again, we're looking at a level 4 out of 5 moderate risk. There's no sign of downtrending right now. Obviously, that can change into the overnight time frame, but right now, no sign of this level 4 out of 5 going anywhere. If anything, it's actually expanded across every single county here in central Mississippi, as severe storms are going to be likely for all of us. So it doesn't matter where you are. You all need to be aware. And if you have any friends or family, and I'll even back up to show you, if you have friends or family in Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, or even to the Florida Panhandle in Tennessee, give them a call, give them a heads up. Again, some people might not pay as close of attention to the weather as you are right now. So please, you could save someone's life into the day today or tomorrow. Let me answer this question. So Lexi asked, once the main system is past us, the rain behind it is something to worry about? Thankfully, no. Once the main line passes of those main cells, and again, we'll go back here actually right now. So once a lot of that energy is eaten up by some of these discrete cells that'll be popping up into the day tomorrow, it's more than likely that we'll see the downward trend of the severity in those back end cells. So again, there could be that probability of some strong to severe storms on the back end of everything. But once we see that main line pass through around about 10 a.m. to 5 or 6 p.m., depending on where you are in central Mississippi, we'll see these cells pass through. And again, on that back end, you can see some of those cells still being fairly strong. I want you to be aware of that into the day tomorrow. So even though you might see one cell pass through, there could be another one on the back of it as well. So that's what we really talked about with those discrete supercells. You have one cell that pushes through, and then you have another that pushes through right behind it. It could easily happen. We've seen it. I'm from Dallas, and we see that all the time in the Great Plains. This is a very similar setup to what you can see quite often in the Great Plains. So I want you to be aware of that. So the whole storm system, I'm reading through the questions right now. The weather for today is very isolated. So again, we're not really expecting severe storms throughout much of the day today, and it's not going to be widespread by any means. This is a fantastic question. Brentley asked, does it look worse for us or Alabama? To be honest with you, Brentley, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's looking bad for both. It depends on where you are in Alabama. Central and southern Alabama, as well as western Alabama. To be honest, a lot more of the instability and timing. Daytime heating will play a major factor into this as well. But to be honest, the worst of it seems to be in eastern Mississippi and western Alabama. But again, we can't just sweep anything under the rug here. It is going to be very strong and very dangerous situation into the day tomorrow. So Crystal asked, when does the main line cross over Jackson? To be honest, there's not necessarily a main line of storms. We're not looking at a system on the back end of everything that actually pushes through, and then the cells all move off to the north. That seems to be a common theme with a lot of supercell-like tendencies with storms. So again, once it pushes through, we could easily see more cells on the back end. But again, the main frontal boundary will push through, and that'll push that severe weather threat out of the forecast for us by Saturday evening for us here in central Mississippi. So I can't necessarily tell you when exactly we'll see those cells pass through, but 10 a.m. to about 6 p.m. is when we'll have the worst and really the thick of it here in central Mississippi. So I need you to be aware of that. Even though that we could see storms before overnight hours and overnight time frame, we could see severe storms. So here's what I need from you. I need you to stay aware, check in for updates throughout the day today. I don't care if it's me. I don't care if it's another station. I don't care if it's the National Weather Service. I legitimately do not care. I need you to stay aware during this scenario. This is not something I take lightly. I've seen homes and families misplaced by these storms. And again, I grew up in the Great Plains, so I have seen severe weather my whole life, and I've been surrounded by it just like you have. So I take this as a very serious situation, and I believe you should too. So stay aware, check in for updates throughout the rest of the day today. Charge up your devices, put your alerts on loud tonight. Please have ways to stay updated tonight. We talked about how really today we're just going to be looking at isolated severe storms. So make sure you stay aware of those isolated severe storms, because it's going to be very isolated, but that one cell that pops up could be over your house. So I need you to be aware of that into the overnight hours. So you have your devices charged up, you're staying alert. And if a warning is issued, you need to know where to go as you are thinking of these severe storms. So be prepared, not scared. And Danielle asked, how bad is it going to be in Monroe? Further off to the south and to the west, you will see these storms fire up just a little bit earlier. Where they're still under the Savannah, or actually Monroe's off to the west. So it's actually looking a little bit lower. I was thinking of Baton Rouge, to be honest with you. The severe weather time frame for central Mississippi starts now. If you want me to be honest, it starts now. We could see those isolated cells pop up this afternoon, and some of those cells could be fairly strong. So let's look at the probability and tornado energy for your day today. Overnight, the energy's there. It's just not necessarily going to be lining up with that main line. So I want you to be aware that there's a possibility of severe weather. And then when you think it's done, boom, it's right back up into the highest it possibly can be for areas along to the south of I-20. We're going to be seeing those cells pop up very strong further off to the south, and then moving in that southwest to northeast track, as we usually see with those tornadic supercells. So again, I need you to be aware that we will see these pass through. And a lot of y'all are asking, will it be moving here fast? Will it be moving through slow? again, we're going to be talking about discrete supercells. With those supercells, you could easily have one pass through to the north side of you, and then another one be on the back end and on the south side of you. So I want you to be aware of that we could easily see multiple storms pass through a very similar and same place throughout some portions of the day tomorrow. But the energy's there. It pushes off to the east into much of Alabama into the day on Saturday, into Saturday afternoon, into the evening. And then by Sunday, we're done. And that's good. We'll be looking at a good look into Sunday. But here's a look at the storm energy for us here in central Mississippi. Again, this is a high resolution model, able to pick up on this stuff pretty quickly and pretty accurately as well. So it shows us a lot of the energy here into the night tonight. Again, most of that energy stays well off to the north of us, but still is prominent across a good portion of central Mississippi. So again, into the overnight and afternoon time frame into Saturday, we could easily see very strong storms. So here is a rough overview of that severe weather threat. In my opinion, I think the day today is a medium threat. Again, it's not widespread. If something does break through the cap, then we could easily have a very strong storm. So I want you to be aware of that into the night tonight. Again, we have that medium threat for us here in central Mississippi. However, tomorrow, I think that is the highest threat that we've seen in quite some time. Again, I don't take this wording lightly, but we could easily have a very strong and severe storm system roll through the forecast. We could be talking about long track and large tornadoes into the day on Saturday. The atmosphere is very favorable for that. And again, I want you to be aware that you need to find a place to go. If you are living in a mobile home or not necessarily the best structure, you need to make sure that you know where to go when a warning is issued. So here's just a overview of that. So the basement usually is the best place, but to be honest, not many people here in the South have basements. I know in Dallas we didn't either, and that's just common here. But storm shelters are very common here, and they might not be common to the public eye, but again, there's a great website. You can Google it. Just look up where your local shelter is. So make sure you know where to go if you do live in a not so sturdy of a structure. But if you live in a sturdy structure, make sure you head to the most interior room or hallway, away from windows, away from glass. Make sure you are going away from all of these things. And I'll pull this up one last time to show you again. We'll walk through the time and then I'll let y'all go. We'll have more updates around 10 and throughout the rest of the day today as well. But here's a live view of our satellite and radar one last time. Again, I'll pull it up full screen for you actually to make sure that you know exactly what we're looking at right now. Again, that frontal boundary is still well off to the west of us. We are talking about more cloudy conditions, very windy and very breezy for your day today. And then looking ahead, again, we could see those isolated storms pop up. They might seem like little green dots around the evening hours tonight, but to be honest, if any storm system breaks through, could be very strong. So be aware of that into the overnight hours. Have multiple ways to stay updated into the night tonight. And again, we looked a little bit clear. The storm energy into the early morning hours, not necessarily as prominent into the day tomorrow or into the early morning hours tomorrow, but again, into the afternoon hours, we're going to be talking about very strong storms. Yes, Enrique, that is exactly true. Some counties have safe rooms. However, and I'm very appalled whenever I found this out, not every county in Mississippi has a storm shelter. And so you need to find the one closest to you. And I fully believe that every county here in the Deep South should have a storm shelter of some sorts somewhere, because it makes no sense. We are one of the, we're in Dixie Alley, people. We are no stranger to severe weather. So please make sure you find your local storm shelter. Please, if you do not live in a sturdy home, you need to find a local storm shelter. And is it supposed to be bad here today? Not necessarily for your Friday. It's more so afternoon, evening, and overnight that we could have some isolated pop-up storms that could be very strong. It's if they break through the cap in the atmosphere. But again, we're really going to be focusing on Saturday. Those kidney bean light cells very easily can drop long track and very dangerous tornadoes. So you need to make sure you have ways to stay updated. That's, in my concern, the biggest threat into the day tomorrow. So you need to make sure you have multiple ways to stay updated into your Saturday. If you have friends or family across the state of Mississippi, across the state of Alabama, and across the whole state, you need to make sure they have ways to stay updated. Again, you could be saving lives tomorrow. I'm sitting here telling you, you're watching me, you're well informed, and that's a great thing. I love that you are watching, but there's only 200 people watching me right now. So there could easily be more, and you could easily save lives tomorrow. So I need you to make sure you tell your friends, tell your family, hey, we're supposed to get bad weather from the early mornings, so 6 a.m. to around 5 o'clock. Or for if you have friends over in Meridian, tell them, hey, it'll be around there around 2 p.m. into the overnight hours. So please give people a heads up. I can only do so much. I can only tell so many people. The thing I love about Mississippi is, and I learned this when I worked in Meridian, if I don't know someone, I know someone who knows someone. And that's really the common theme here in Mississippi is you know someone who knows someone. Even if you don't know them, you know them. So I want you to make sure you tell someone who then in turn will tell someone who then in turn will tell someone so that we can make sure everyone is well informed for this storm system that is going to be pushing in the forecast. But again, that's all I got for you right now. Obviously, we'll be bringing you more updates throughout the rest of the day today and into the day tomorrow. We'll be here. I'll be here for severe weather coverage as well, making sure that y'all have the most up-to-date information and y'all will be safe into the day tomorrow. That is my one goal from this system, is to make sure you are prepared for it and that you understand that the severity is there, the impacts are going to be there. And again, I want to make sure that everyone gets out of this okay and safe and sound, and that we can all enjoy the beautiful weather into next week. So again, if you have any questions, do not be afraid to reach out to me. I will happily answer them at any time. But that's all I got for you right now. Have a great rest of your day today. Stay safe. Please stay weather aware. And if you have any questions, do not be afraid to ask me at any times. I want to make sure that you will be safe and get out of this altogether. So again, make sure you stay safe. Have a great rest of your day today and have your weather guards up throughout the rest of the day.